We're heading to game 5. Indiana looks like they have control of this series. Tyrese Haliburton was just fantastic. I'm going to break down all 15 of his assists from last night's game against New York, and let's just look at the development of him and why he is leading the Pacers to being one game away from the NBA Finals.
A lot of Tyrese Haliburton's success last night really boiled down to two things. One was getting out and running in transition and making really simple reads, and the second one being understanding the pick and roll game, where help's coming from. I'm going to break down both of these. This is not all 15 of his assists. I thought some of them there's not really a point in breaking it down. Either he was the inbounder, which he did get about 3 assists just as an inbounder on a great baseline out of bounds play, or it was just another transition clip of something I'm already going to talk about. So let's take a look. He got ready. He got going early and often in this one. And I think that's something worth noting for Indiana, right? Tyrese, the one getting the rebound right here. And that's obviously important to note because he's his own outlet. There's nobody that needs to be the outlet for him. So guys are able to get wide and get up the court because Tyrese has the ball in the middle. And the spacing that they come out in transition with, I think is interesting. Tyrese has the entire middle of the floor to be able to attack. And so the defense obviously has to put their eyes on him and where he's at. When you combine that and the willingness and the aggression of Haliburton to get downhill, and you have a guy, you got 2 guys on the backside, one on this left side over here, and you space the floor with them, and they can shoot the ball, it puts teams in a difficult position, and that's where Indiana is at its best. I love this early pitch ahead from him right here. The clock just got going. New York just scored. Congrats. In those moments where a team scores really quickly, sometimes they're a little bit slow to get back on defense, and Tyrese doesn't even throw the ball on the floor. He just pitches it ahead, and Siakam says, I can take Towns one-on-one. Let's go for it, right? But just look how quick he gets that ball out of his hand. He's looking. He's looking to go. Boom. I love that from my point guard. I think a point of emphasis for a team that really wants to get going quick is notice how he's positioned to be able to make this pass. I like his back parallel to the sideline, right? The sideline's over here. I like his back parallel to it so he can get it and he can just throw it right away, right? If he's facing the sideline, it's a little bit tougher of a play. If he is catching the ball with his entire body facing the baseline, it's tough for him to turn. He'd have to dribble, and then you're slowing down your transition attack. So back to the sideline, get out and go, get it to Siakam. Great play. Here's a nice little double drag action that Indiana's going to run early in a possession. I kind of call this a stair-step look where they're not quite even like you would see out of a normal double drag look, but rather they're staggered a little bit. And what that's going to do is if Haliburton wants to attack out of this right here, defense is put in a tough spot where they have to communicate, especially if this guy can shoot the ball. Notice that Brunson's way under the play, and that's what they're anticipating. They're going to probably switch this first one if they can, and then stay true with the big right here, and then we're going backside right there. But instead, Haliburton has a lot of space. He's going to reject this first screen. 2 guys get on Haliburton. Turner's going to set that screen at the top, and Nesmith just pops for a wide open 3. Great play, great read, simplicity at its finest. Haliburton already hasn't had to make super difficult or tough reads yet. There's Haliburton again, getting that ball early, getting the rebound. Everybody else is looking to run. McConnell's looking to maybe be the outlet guy himself, but we're running. We're looking to go, and he said, nah, I'll wave you off. Your reads go like this in transition. If you can pitch the ball up ahead, same side of the floor because the defense lets you, let's do it. If not, I love crossing the floor with this pass because defense is loaded up on the strong side. They are loaded up on this left side, right? We got 1, 2, 3 guys on this side of the floor. Brunson's trailing the play, and you got Mitchell Robinson that's not going to be able to slow him down right here. Get that ball. Great seal right there. Great work. Love crossing it. If you can cross the ball in transition, I think more teams need to do that. Here we go. Haliburton again, getting out and running in transition. This time you have a shape that I call a double same. You have the ball on the right side of the floor, and you have 2 guys on the same side of the floor. This one's interesting. You got somebody picking up Haliburton in transition, which you want, which you desire, but you have a Josh Hart on this side that is responsible for two different guys right here. And that puts him in a really tough position because, truthfully, Brunson's dropping down. He's going to try to stay here. And you got two guys running back, and one really needs to get over here, and Bridges is probably going to stay over here on top him. So instead, he's going to kick it down, and we're just going to play a 2-on-1 game. You got Siakam, corner, McConnell cuts, and he's open for three because Hart is just a second too late because he had to guard two. That's what makes transition so tough to be able to guard over the course of a game. Oh, here's a fun Spain look right here. Nesmith. Ball screen up top. You're going to run something like that to try to get Brunson switched on to Haliburton. And then either out of this, you can pop it or you can roll yourself. But out of this, they're going to set another screen with the big. Haliburton's going to look to turn the corner. And rather than truly setting it, he's going to try to slip to the basket quick. Slip to the basket quick. Hart sees this action happening, and he's going to be willing to help. This is where the IQ of Haliburton comes into play. They're not pressuring him nearly enough on ball screens that I would like for them to. I mean, Bridges is obviously trying to fight over the top, and then you've got Nesmith staying wide over here, and you've got Nembhard on this backside. So when this slip happens to the basket, because Mitchell Robinson is so high up and he's trying to guard Haliburton as he's trying to turn the corner, Brunson's in no man's land, truthfully. I mean, he's guarding, I think this is Nesmith right here, and Bridges is trying to fight back in front. But because Mitchell Robinson's in no man's land, you could just lob this right here. Hart feels like he has to help over, and all Haliburton's reading is right here, okay? If you decide to help over on this roll to the basket, I'm going to throw it backside over here to Nembhard. If you stay true to it right here, this is a lob to the front of the rim. He throws it backside, wide open three ball. Three is greater than two, and Hart is not happy. He throws his hands up. Not much he can do on that backside when he has to cover the front of the rim and a shooter like Nembhard out of that. Here's Indiana again in transition. Okay. 2-on-1. Obviously, don't love the spacing. You got to get nice and wide so that one guy can't guard two. But something I love out of this, right? Brunson stays there. Hit your trail. Hit your trail and big, run into the front of the rim. Because I guarantee you a guard is not going to be willing to get in front of a freight train like Pascal Siakam. Go into the front of the rim like that. And the last clip I got right here, a nice little double drag. You got two screens, 1, 2, and Hallie's going to play out of that. He's got a lot of space on this right side to be able to attack. That's why we like spacing guys deep in the corners. He's got a lot of room to be able to attack. He's going to make the defense make a decision. Defender fights over. Towns now has to try to get back in front, and Turner's going to roll to the basket. So the same read is going to play out here that I briefly just talked about. You're reading backside. If this guy tries to come in and tag right here, you're just going to throw it backside to Obi Toppin. If he stays true and Towns comes up and tries to guard you, well, you got Miles Turner at a lob to the front of the rim. Obviously, you got Hart right here too, but there's no way he's helping right here because then you got an easy kick down to Nembhard. I'd prefer out of this to make a difficult pass to an Obi Toppin, but let's see what plays out. Okay, great job getting back in front. Love it. You could have thrown that backside to Toppin, but OG is just so quick, he'd be able to get back in front. We're trying to fight back in front right here. Haliburton looks like he's going to rise and fire out of that. Doesn't love the shot, though. And he throws it to Turner. I mean, obviously, you don't want to leave the floor to find the pass, but in this instance for Haliburton, he leaves the floor to really draw Towns closer to him to then free up Turner rolling. Great vision, great look. We got to start talking about him, man. Tyrese Haliburton has been phenomenal. He's going to continue to be phenomenal moving forward. And they're one game away from the NBA Finals, and it is because of the vision and the simplicity that Indiana plays with.